we're moving into our second part. Remember, chapter one is about people, politics, and participation. The first objective we're going to cover is to explore what government does. Second thing is to explain how scientists like you call the various types of government, and that should be a review. Third one is to consider the origins of American democracy. Again, that should be a review. And the fourth objective is to look at what do we mean by political culture and American values. So let's go ahead and get started of the first objective, what government does. The first thing is to protect their sovereignty, territory, and their citizen, and to provide national defense. To simplify that, meaning we need a military to protect our territory from outside invasion and to protect our citizens. Second thing is to preserve order and stability. We need to have order and stability just in case of a disaster. It could be a natural disaster like a hurricane, like Hurricane Laura. It could be a pandemic that we're dealing with. We need some type of structure, okay? And within this structure, it has to have a legitimacy of the government that it is a legit and we trust that it's going to handle the problem and solve the problem. Third thing that government does is establish and maintain a legal system. They need to have a court system. Okay, it's a federalism as far as our court system. We have state courts, we have federal courts, but we also have local courts, and also we have different rules, different boundaries. For example, different states have different laws and different punishments. For example, the state of Missouri has the death penalty. The next one is to provide services, services to the citizen. It could be transportation, it could be roads, bridges, airports, okay, the healthcare that they provide for their citizen. To raise and spend money, raise money by collecting taxes, and government in all levels love to spend money. And the last one is to socialize new generation, and the best example of that is going to school and to learn about, for example, about American government and how it works. Okay, so that is the first objective. Second objective is to talk about the types of government. So we have, this should be a review, monarchy ruled by king and queen. Usually it passed through dynasty, the bloodline. Oligarchy means you are ruled by a few, a strong group. Democracy ruled by people. Two types of democracy. Remember, you have direct democracy, meaning people have the actual voice. Indirect democracy, or what we call representative democracy, in which we elect representatives or public officials to speak for us. Government function and structure. Totalitarian, meaning you have that one strong voice, one person that rules all aspects of citizens' life. Authoritarian, meaning that you have a strong traditional group that rule. And the last structure is you have some type of a constitution that the government follows. So whoever the leader or leaders, their powers are limited. Next objective, the origins of American democracy. Remember the first thing, it came from the Greeks. Okay, so the Greeks, for example, created what is known as the direct democracy. It came from the city states of Athens. Direct democracy, people had a direct voice. And it works in Athens because it was small enough and you don't have a lot of diversity, and most of the people agree. Okay. Romans gave us what is we have here in this country, which is a representative democracy because it was an empire. So they need more of a structure. So they have representatives to speak for the people, to speak for the citizen. There's also English common laws that we copy in the past, like the Magna Carta. You remember the Magna Carta limited the power of King John, and by that it's saying that the leader does not have unlimited power. Their powers could be limited. We also got some idea from the Protestant Reformation. The Protestant Reformation from Martin Luther that we study in world history. And pretty much in early history, how we structure our laws, we have a lot of Protestants or Christian beliefs in it. The Enlightenment came along and said, no more just believing in tradition. Okay, we must have a reason why we do things. And some of the enlightened philosophers, like Thomas Hobbes, wrote the book The Leviathan, and he believes that people, they're born evil. So you need a strong ruler, or you need some type of a law so people could function because they are evil. John Locke has more of a positive view of people. He believed that people were born with three natural rights: life, liberty, and property. And it's the job of the government to protect those rights. And Jean Jacques Rousseau put all this together and said what Hobbes and Locke is talking about, that you have this social contract with your government. And people, the citizen and the government, sign this contract together. And they agree together to function. And the last thing that we're going to talk about, and you're going to do some activity about it, is talking about political culture and American values. In our political culture, within our American values, we have this five concept: liberty, equality, capitalism, the consent of the governed, individual, family, and community. Okay, so what you need to do is to listen to either Donald Trump's speech during his convention or Joe Biden's speech during his convention, or you can combine the two and find an example for each of these values we're talking about. Okay? If you have further questions about this assignment, let me know, email me, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Meanwhile, have a good day, and thanks for listening to my lecture.